This is Yarlswood Immigration Detention Centre. Hidden in a quiet corner of an industrial lot in rural Bedfordshire, it can hold up to 400 women at a time and is one of 13 prison-like compounds where asylum seekers are forcibly and indefinitely detained for weeks, months, or even years. Many of the women detained are survivors of gender-based traumas like FGM, human trafficking, rape, or are refugees of war. Whilst inside, their mental and physical health deteriorate. Self-harm and suicide attempts are rampant in these facilities, dogged by a troubling string of abuse and neglect cases by staff who seem to answer only to outsourced private companies that prioritise cutting costs over human dignity. This is state-sanctioned neglect on a large scale, a perversion of immigration control, a murmured controversy at odds with democracy and human rights in this country. Can such a place exist here? These are the secret lives of the indefinitely detained asylum seekers of Britain.
I didn't have a choice to come to England. I was brought by a woman who made me to work for her like a prostitute for many years. And I had no choice.
They took me to Yarlswood Detention Center.
So humiliated. Because I was forced to get into the van, by the way, and then they handcuffed me with 1, 2, 13. 8 men. 8 men, and there were 2 in the van.
I would never forget that moment in my life, never. When I was arrested here again in England, I thought that all the things happened to me in my country is coming again. I thought that everything I've been through in prison in my country is going to happen again. It was for me a prison. It was for me a prison.
I lost my mind, lost my senses. I was just asking myself, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? What am I bringing? Why are people bringing me in detention for? What have I done?
When I was there, my hair was very, very bad. I tried to kill myself several times. There are many girls in detention who drink shampoo, who try to kill themselves.
All the time I tried to kill myself. All the time I was like, I want to die.
Many girls tried to kill herself, cutting the wrists. The guard come and took you to healthcare and give you paracetamol and bring you back.
In response to widespread criticism, in September 2016, the Home Office introduced the Adults at Risk policy, which states that vulnerable people, or those particularly at risk of harm from detention, including women who have experienced sexual and gender-based violence, should not normally be detained. But there is a disgraceful gap between policy and practice. 22 out of 26 women interviewed by Women for Refugee Women were survivors of sexual violence. Troublingly, there is no actual screening process that actively identifies the vulnerabilities of women before they are detained. Most women fall through the net, and once inside, they report being dismissed and treated with suspicion and disbelief when they try to address their concerns. This culture of disbelief has a detrimental impact on their mental and physical health. Shockingly, the revised policy redefined the legal definition of torture so that it refers only to violence carried out by official state agents, meaning that the women tortured by non-governmental forces, like traffickers or terrorists, could be held in detention, even if medical evidence found the scars on their bodies to be consistent with their accounts of torture. A High Court judge has ruled that this has led to hundreds of victims being unlawfully detained in these centres. The Home Office's own sampling of cases revealed that in just 3 months in 2016, there were 226 people who, as survivors of torture, should not have been detained. To this day, Britain is the only country in Europe to indefinitely detain, attracting growing criticism from various human rights organisations, including the UN Human Rights Council. There has been increasing pressure on the government to act from all sides of the political spectrum, as well as grassroots organisations, many calling for a 28-day time limit to be imposed on detention.
The question of holding people indefinitely is a really important one. We are a land of liberty. And we believe in liberty for everybody, and we believe in the rule of law for everybody. And that means respecting the rights of all people who are in this country. But if there's somebody, as you say, who has been raped or who has been tortured or suffered from FGM, then to be holding somebody in that situation in indefinite detention would be deeply troubling.
The upcoming immigration bill in July 2018 presents an opportunity for just such an amendment. The 28-day limit would reduce the serious harm done to detainees and would require the Home Office to reform its routine and complacent reliance on detention. But in the meantime, it is vital that the Home Office acknowledge that their treatment of these women is a stain on our democracy and national conscience.